Well, as promised, we're going to try to send you a video at least 5 times a week. Little short ones, nothing huge, so you should be able to watch them every morning. Hopefully you've spent the weekend entering your foods into your chronometer. Take a screenshot of one of your chronometer pages and post it here at the Facebook group. That'll earn you points towards your team for Team Spirit Award. And it'll also be a great opportunity to find out, to get feedback, to see if you've entered things correctly and got your settings all done properly. And also it'll be a way to generate conversation with other people. It'll inspire other people who haven't got around to doing theirs yet. So thanks to those of you who are going to do that. I want to talk about what you're going to do new now. What are you going to start changing? Let's talk about what we're going to do first thing every morning. We suggest that you test your glucose every morning. You want to monitor your fasting blood sugar as it's coming down day by day. As you're moving towards ketosis, your fasting blood sugar will become lower and lower as the days and weeks go by. So the only way to track that is to check yourself every morning, or maybe every other morning. 3 days a week? It's up to you, you decide. Little inexpensive glucometer is $25 or so. At Walmart or Walgreens or Sam's Club, or pretty much anywhere actually you can get them. When choosing, you want to make sure you get one that has inexpensive tester strips. They get you on the strips, so in other words, you might get a free monitor, but if your strips cost you $1 every time you test your sugar, that's going to end up costing you lots of money in the long run. So you're much better off to buy a $20 or $30 glucometer when you can get your strips for only 20 or 25 cents. So that way it costs you next to nothing to test yourself. So that's the first thing you want to do most mornings, is test your sugar and see what it is first thing out of bed before you eat any food or drink any coffee or anything with caffeine in it, anything besides water. Then if you're hungry, go ahead and have breakfast. Lunch is going to be roughly 3 or 4 hours after your breakfast. Could be 2, it just depends how late you had breakfast. Whenever you get hungry, again, it's not tied to any particular time on the clock, it's just whenever you get hungry again. So 2, 3, 4 hours after breakfast, have lunch. Because you're doing the ease in, we're not going to worry too much about changing your lunch or your dinner actually. It's really more the timing in your breakfast that we're going to change now. Breakfast will be your main change. Lunch, pretty much do the same thing you've been doing at this point. While we're in the ease in phase, we're not going to change lunch too much, other than be aware of adding more vegetables, lots more vegetables, and try to watch the carbs. So for example, if you're used to having a sandwich, have your sandwich open-faced, in other words, only with one piece of bread. Or like Dr. McCullough says on page 161, if you're used to having a pasta dish, maybe switch to a hearty bowl of soup. Just sort of be aware of the starches, the rice, the pasta, the bread, and just try to start to cut down on those a little bit. And then for dinner, what we want dinner to be is at least 3 hours before you go to bed. So think about what time you go to bed and then have dinner 3 or 4 hours before bedtime. If that's not possible, if you work too late and go to bed early, at least no more than 2 hours, and we'll work towards backing it down. Typically your goal is to not have dinner for 3 or 4 hours before you go to bed. For dinner, just keep doing the same thing you've been doing, and we'll work on easing back on your carbs later too. Try to focus on adding more vegetables, lots more vegetables. Let's try to get your fiber count up. Most of you, if you look at your fiber count in your chronometer, I'll bet you're around 15 or 20 grams of fiber per day. We want to get that doubled as quickly as possible and eventually get up to about 50 grams of fiber a day. So hopefully that answers all your questions, and we'll talk to you some more tomorrow.